Hi guys, good afternoon, how are you doing? The last day of July, 31st of July 2019. It's a 2 p.m. CET, 1 p.m. London, 8 a.m. Eastern. Piotr here, and this is the New York Open Live Market coverage, only here on Liteforex Global YouTube channel. It's a little bit different what we do usually at this time. Because we are going to cover mostly Canadian GDP within the next 30 minutes. In the meantime, in the next 15, we have US ADP ahead of the Friday's payroll. But of course, later today, the key event of the day, key event of the month looks like FOMC day. And we are going to meet 15 minutes ahead of that event. 7:45 p.m. CT, 6:45 p.m. London, 1:45 p.m. Eastern. So right now we are going to check what is going on after the ADP. I do not expect huge fireworks. Then the Canadian GDP, and here I would like to see some weak readings. Yeah, we are. That's gonna be something around 45 minutes, maybe 1 hour, and we are going to be done here this afternoon, recharging, prepare ourselves for the afternoon meeting or a late afternoon meeting in relation to the FOMC. So guys, let's start with risk warning. As usual, please bear in mind trading FX on margin, trading crypto on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for investors who can sustain a loss of some or all initial investment, so please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Okay. So at 2:15 p.m. CT, during this ADP announcement, I'm going to check what is going on with euro dollar only. Then we are going to discuss EURCAD and USDCAD ahead of the Canadian GDP. So right now, focus on euro dollar, and I would say more important is right now probably euro pound, because I'm not sure if I noticed correctly, but there was some move to the upside on the cable. At the same time, there was a move to the downside on euro. Now it's a little bit opposite. Euro bounced some like 7 pips, cable weakening by 7 pips. So I would say what we have right now on euro dollar, it's mostly dependent on what is going on euro pound instead of what is going on the overall euro dollar, right? Especially with euro dollar, we are below, as you can see, green dotted line, we are below Monday high. There was an attempt to go higher yesterday, attempt to go higher today. In both cases, we've been rejected. Still plenty of space towards post ECB high, but don't forget about the option expiration. And we were discussing option expiration earlier today, 11:45. So around the current level, quite a good chunk in expiration. So I do expect this level to work as a magnet, at least towards option expiration, 4 p.m. CET or 10 a.m. New York. Very, very, very important day, especially from the FOMC perspective. There are not going to be a lot of time to try to figure it out, the FOMC, right? Usually what I'm saying that the real reaction might be within 12-24 hours after such an event. Probably not this time because of end of the month. Maybe part of the game is going to be done towards European session close. It might be the case as well. Eventually, the rest around the FOMC and Powell press conference. Now, the data is not suggesting dovish FOMC. So I'm going to be very, very careful. But on the other hand, what we discussed this morning, based on the dollar index, based on where we are in euro dollar, and taking into the consideration that just 8 hours left towards the end of the month, from the chart perspective, on euro dollar and on dollar yen, based on the monthly chart, dollar doesn't look good. And it's a case, you know, sometimes it's one side have to do something, the other side is just trying to defend, right? And that's what we have on the dollar. The bulls, they have to push and close higher. The best thing is to have the best monthly close this year. That might confirm the breakout, because if we are going to get the best close 2019, meaning that probably we are going to be above November 2016 monthly open, so meaning that we are talking about the election month in US, right? And yeah, we'll see. Anyway, from ADP perspective, so just short term, where we are and what we are trying to do. As of now, very narrow range over the course of the day. And to be honest with you, the bulls are slowing down a bit here, right? What might be the chance for bears? But that's only very short-term intraday chart. What might be the chance here for bears? Possible diamond formation, all right? And usually we should see some kind of the continuation to the downside. If that's the case, we have very good chance to finally test big possible demand based on the weekly chart. Now, it might be a little bit more complicated than few can argue, because we might after the FOMC we might close the day, the month above 65. That's what is needed, and we might see retest July, right? I don't think we are going to get that straight after the FOMC, but never say never, right? Never say never. Actually, that's the only chance I can see here right now from the bears perspective, from the dollar bulls perspective. Otherwise, we have this nice bottom creation based on the higher time frame. There is a high wave candle, post ECB bottom holds, tweezer bottom Friday, Monday, trying to go a little bit higher, right? But still, this previous tweezer bottom, broken tweezer bottom, and we are talking about the 18th of July and 19th of July. Then we broke through downside. That's of course the first possible supply, and we are discussing for now to the upside, post ECB stops high, and then this tweezer. So overall, we need to get back above 12, 15, 25, and 40 from the bulls perspective to try to make it neutral and trying to push even higher, right, from here. Hourly chart, I had the long position as you know, based on the trading plan we created yesterday, but on this move lower here, I moved the stop above the entry. So yeah, the current move to the downside hit my stop profit, right? So when you are moving, if you are long and you're moving your stop above the entry, it's not longer stop loss, but it's stop profit, right? Because you are moving above the entry level, right? So we have something like 3 minutes to go. Still looking to buy short-term dips, having in mind that there is this option expiration, so probably we are not going much higher than 1150. So trying to buy deep towards 30 might be the case, just for quick 15-20 pips pop eventually, right? Still 2 minutes to go. Because of end of the month, if someone is need to explain something, it might be this ADP might be treated as NFP, right? Because of the specific time, because of the end of the month, right? So if it's going to be the good one, it might help the dollar. If it's going to bad one, might weaken the dollar ahead of the FOMC. So this is I think the liquidity pool here around yesterday late New York session low, and there you go. Two pips move, 156,000, expectations 150, prior 102. So nothing extraordinary here, as expected. So if I would choose it should a bit be in favor of dollar, especially when we are talking about the cable, but I'm not interested in cable right now. 2280, 2320, that's what I'm gonna to look for. a little bit favor in USD in my opinion. Don't forget we have this Chicago PMI as well later today. So yeah, plenty of news, and that's, you know, from that perspective, and from market makers' perspective, for possibility of hunt few stops to the upside, hunt few stops to the downside. That's the best, probably the best day of the month today. We are about to switch to Canadian dollar within the next few minutes, ahead of Canadian GDP. Just watch this euro dollar for a moment. Tweezer bottom on daily, this double bottom here on hourly, some kind of the trend line. So we got back above. We are fighting around this Monday high, blue-green line. So let's have a look at the sizes of the move to the downside we've already seen. More or less they are equal in size. So in case of the break of this trend line being below the Monday high, we might try to look for these stops based on this London low. I may try to take the advantage of that. If the distance between the entry and stop is gonna be in my favor and the target. Of course, my exposure is gonna be much lower than usual stuff, based on yeah. based on what we discussed end of the month, right? Because now, you know, the big guys, some of them, they don't care about the chart if they have to make the business around the end of the month. So the end of the month flow dominates right now. So I'm going to try to join. Depends on where we are going to be at the 15-minute chart. I'm going to try to join the party around 50 with the stop above 56 plus 1 plus spread, so something around 58. So it's gonna be like 8 to 9 pips stop. I'm gonna to target 17 pips only. Not good, because it's with 9 pips, it's not even 2R. Not good. We'll see. Anyway, let's switch to the Canadian dollar. And before we discuss Canadian dollar, it's worth to mention where we are on the crude after API private data better than expected rally into the close yesterday. We found this possible intraday demand based on the combination we have here to the left. If you haven't seen morning edition, definitely you should get back to the archive section and watch that one, because that was the first line of the defense inside the range, because we are in the middle of some kind of the range, and I've mentioned that if we are about to hold the yellow line in the middle here, we might see ahead of the EEA, we might see retest of 59.60, 60.20. So here the oil is in favor of Canadian dollar, right now at least. So USDCAD tested on Friday, hit supply based on the daily chart, right? So upper shadow rejection yesterday. We're trying to get back and retest. We have this supply still visible here around 32.20, right? And to the downside, of course, 130 psychological level, but we may try to trade this over under case here, right? Okay, so 31 it could be the case, 30.90 it could be the case as well. Anyway, also I like Thursday price action based on this latest weakness. So that was the latest weakness, right? And what I like is this Thursday price action over here. Right, this rising candle of that level. So we know where the stops are for sure. So let's place the line. $31.15. That's the line in the sand here. So that's if we are going to break that one, 15, 30.90 is immediately the target, and then we cannot rule it out 130.20 again. Okay, to the upside, I think that stops above this week high towards Friday high. So we have our range here. And intraday, it's a little bit, yeah, that's the low, and that's the demand, and that's the low. And Euro Canadian, problems with this. What was supposed to work as a demand right now looks like supply, and that doesn't look good. I've been thinking about buying EURCAD. That's retested that. Jeez. So I think if we are going to call it range, that's the POSI CB price action, and we spent the time around the top of that. It's similar to what I'm waiting for on the euro dollar. By the way, euro is falling as expected. But the distance between the entry and the stop, and the entry and the target, the risk reward ratio, it was even less than 2R. So not for me, but at least we know where the first demand might be, right? And the ADP was in favor. That's what I think we agreed on. All right, so Canadian dollar. So let's leave euro dollar. Let's leave EURCAD. Let's focus on USDCAD only. To the upside, 32.20. To the downside, 31.15, 31.20. Good luck. Looks like Canadian bulls like the number. $1.4 versus 1.3 expectations, but prior 1.5. Month to month, 0.2 versus 0.1 expectations, prior 0.3. So I wanna see test of these levels, and that might be the reaction and move to the upside here. So first stops below today's low, and that will expose 31.15. And the oil is supporting right now. I wonder what's going to happen around 4:30 p.m. CT when we are going to get the official EA release. So for sure we hit stops under today low. So short-term plan is to watch the move towards 31.15 and what kind of the price action we are going to see here. In case of some positive developments, I may try to pick tiny long. We'll see. Might be supply right now. In August or September, that's depends on you guys. We may try to repeat with some special edition. We may try to go through educational webinars again. We have to remember, guys, it's a little bit different day today. That sometimes happen. It's not only end of the month, especially because of this FOMC stuff. I like do intraday trading, right? But sometimes being flat and watching, hunting for the opportunity is better. Is also sometimes is also the position, right? Being without the position is also position. So especially today, I would like to have some kind of the setups I already visualize to myself. In case I'm not gonna get them, okay, fine. We are about to start new month tomorrow. Should be okay. Lower low on Canadian. Dollar is weakening right now. Cable hitting new high. But don't try to chase cable. I'm waiting for a selling opportunity on cable. One figure higher. Taking into the consideration the data we get yesterday, right? For example, the consumer confidence, huge monster, I would say. Then, then the Apple earning report. Of course. If we are going to get 25, there are going to be a lot of complaints, especially from the White House administration, that why 25 instead of 50, right? But I think over the course of the last few months, Fed did amazing job. They created another tool for themselves. They have the possibility to cut the rate and not going into negative territory compared to Bank of Japan, compared to ECB, compared to Swiss National Bank. Those central banks, they saying they've got the plenty of tools, right? But they just saying. So we are getting closer and closer. Of course, the closer we are getting towards the top of the hour, the less chances I'm going to get that trade, right? Then I may wait and watch what is going on within next hour, right? It might be that we are going to see one-way ticket to the downside, the breakdown, and then immediately retest and continuation. And that, if I'm going to have enough, because it's a 25 pips to the downside, if I'm going to have a stop around 6.8, I may try that breakdown. I may try the breakdown. Retest of the broken line on euro dollar. Almost this 50 level retested, but again, for me, no space because of the low risk reward below 2. So I'm not chasing this euro dollar, but looks like for now it's working as discussed. We still have some level, some space, so it's not that it's not this kind of the bounce. Even you've got some kind of the pin, positive, reverse, that might be invitation to hit more stops, so to take out from the market early buyers. Not yet, guys. At least not yet for me. So lower and squeeze eventually. If I'm not mistaken. End of the month profit taking on cable is going on right now. And if you remember, this morning we went through monthly chart on the dollar index, right? Crucial. We discussed euro dollar from the monthly chart perspective. Crucial. What is going to be the close? Dollar yen, crucial as well. Everywhere crucial. And similar situation actually on indices. For example, on the Nasdaq, the bulls just have to hold current level, and they might be good to go higher in August. Let's switch to 15-minute candle here for a second. Just guys, don't forget, I'm not doing technical analysis on the 1-minute chart, right? I mean, I'm watching 1-minute chart, but oh, okay, this one. But it's based on what we discussed on much higher time frame. I'm looking for execution only right here. Because I've got level from the daily, I've got level from the hourly. Looks like cable is looking for stops above 90, and then if rejected, that might be the setup. 20 to 20, 20 to 10, 20 to 20. But for me, 2280, 2320, at some point we are going to get there. Even a little bit lower here, like this. Let me correct this trend line on this 15-minute chart. Okay. Okay, guys, looks like market is slow. Two setups here on Canadian dollar. Either we are going to hold this 15 and I'm going to go lower on 1 minute chart, right? Retest, engulf to have the possibility to retest pre-GDP levels. So from the entry to the high, I have to have at least 2.5 to 1 to decide to entry, and in case of the breakdown, retest 3090 might be the target, right? Watch oil and official EA release. That's the first thing, and the second thing, euro dollar. This is a setup, but the risk reward is below 2, so I'm not gonna chase this market. But if we are going to hold the trend line during this retest, we might see move down towards 1133. Just a reminder, 4 p.m. CET, 10 a.m. New York, expiration 11:45, huge. All right, guys, don't be trapped over the course of the first part of the New York session. All right, don't forget, 15 minutes ahead of the FOMC announcement, we are starting our live market coverage here only on Liteforex Global YouTube channel. So you are more than welcome to join me again this evening in Europe, 7:45 p.m. CET, 6:45 p.m. London, 1:45 p.m. Eastern. No fireworks at the very beginning of the New York session. Still some data coming in. Chicago PMI, official EA release. So here from the crude perspective, just one more thing in relation to the crude, what we discussed this morning. In case we are going to hit 59.60, 60.20, let's say the EA is gonna be similar to what we get from ADP, I'm going to look for some kind of the rejection, and I may try to counter the move to the upside, meaning that I might try to look actually opportunity to go short. That's it from me, guys. Have a great rest of the maybe not. Have a great first part of the New York session. I'm going to recharge the battery, and we are about to meet within the next 4 hours, 5 hours. So see you around, guys. Goodbye.